Good morning, everyone. Last week, I overheard two people have the same argument that's been had since the beginning of time. You're doing it wrong. Except this time, it was about a Zoom meeting. So picture this. A 23-year-old employee, she sends a quick message to her 63-year-old manager and says, hey, quick question about the upcoming meeting. Now that manager is a baby boomer, so he's out having his coffee doing his rounds. And he comes back to his desk, sees the message, and he picks up the phone and calls her. Now she's in another meeting by this point, so she doesn't answer, and he thinks, why are you gonna send me a message if you aren't gonna pick up your phone? And she thinks, why is this man calling me like we're in some 1980s business drama? And somewhere across the floor, for the third time that week, HR is Googling how to manage intergenerational conflict. Because here's what's happening right now. We are living through a workforce phenomenon that we've never seen before. We have people who were born before the digital revolution managing people who have never known a world without it. We have people who started their professional careers typing on typewriters, managing those who learned to read on iPads. We're trying to build a digital workforce with two different groups of people that have fundamentally different operating systems. So why do we care specifically about baby boomers and Gen Z? I mean, there's a lot of us in the workforce. All the Gen Xers and millennials are doing the work while we're talking right now. Well, baby boomers, they're staying in the workforce longer than their predecessors for a number of reasons. They're delaying their retirement. And in doing so, they're taking up a lot of space in leadership right now. Right? So that can be anything from a shop floor manager all the way to C-suite, director, CEO. And they control a lot of things in these roles. They control organizational strategy, budgets, organizational culture. And Gen Z, they're the talent pipeline, and believe me, they're coming in fast and furious. And in a workplace where most of our communication is digital, the friction between these two generations is loud. My research is in organizational psychology, and I can tell you that I've spent the past year interviewing baby boomer and Gen Z employees and how they work together in these hybrid work settings. And it's quite interesting when you think about the two and sort of the differences between them. One of the things that I found most fascinating was during these conversations, they were telling me that their leadership is spending a lot of budget dollars on things like bridging the generational divide. How do we communicate across generations? Teaching technology across generations. But what's really fascinating is that they all think it's about the technology. It's about teaching baby boomers how to use Teams and Slack, and teaching Gen Z phone etiquette, because that's maybe not their favorite thing. But by focusing on the tools, they're getting it all wrong. It's not about the tools, it never was. It's about the collision of two completely different operating systems, right? Baby boomers didn't grow up with digital technology. They had to adapt to it over time. And Gen Z, they have never known a world without it. Try and find one without a phone in their hand, it's impossible. So now, when we're forcing them together in these hybrid workspaces or digital spaces with no training, no model, right? What do you get? You get miscommunications, frictions, and a lot of passive-aggressive meeting invites that say in-person required. In my research, one question that I asked both generations is, what does dedication look like to you? What does it look like in the workforce? And baby boomers, they came out and said, being there, getting the job done, staying late, staying till 11 p.m. if I need to. I'm going to be there to get the work done. Amazing. Gen Z, they said producing quality work, important work, but doing so in a way where I don't need to check my Slack at 11 p.m. because work-life boundaries are healthy, actually. And both are completely right, yet both think that the other is from another planet. And then something happened that I didn't expect. A baby boomer later, they sat down, they looked me in the eye, and they said, you know, Holly, it's not that I'm afraid of technology. It's that I'm afraid of looking stupid. I've spent my entire career being competent, being that person that everyone goes to because I've been there, I've lived it, I've done that. And now I'm in this Slack meeting and I don't know what half the buttons mean. Wow, vulnerable, right? And then a Gen Z employee said something just as eye-opening. They said, everyone thinks I'm afraid of hard work. I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm afraid of burning out before I'm 30 years old. I watched my parents put in those hours. They missed my Little League game. They stayed till 11 p.m. And what did it get them? Exhaustion, burnout, right? Challenges in their marriage. I don't want to be part of that statistic. Why would I? And that's when it hit me. This isn't a generational conflict. It's a collaboration crisis. We never gave them the tools or models to work together. It's like we're trying to take these pieces of the digital mosaic, but we never bothered to figure out who was holding them. So at that point, I realized I was asking the wrong question. The question that I should be asking is, what does each generation see about collaborative digital work that the other one's missing? And I can tell you that baby boomers see that some conversations need tone and presence, that there is benefit to that water cooler talk, to being there in person. And Gen Z, they see that asynchronous communication can actually be more inclusive sometimes. And those SOPs they're bothering you for, they really can help, right? Especially with change management and turnover and roles, more so than we've maybe seen lately. And when you stop trying to fix generational management and you start designing for it, it changes the picture, right? You get baby boomers to teach on how to read a room and how to have difficult conversations. You get Gen Z employees to come in and teach on that new technology, those sustainable workflows. Both teach, both learn, and both win. And when you think about it, that's what a mosaic is, right? They're not pieces that are exactly the same, cut from the same cookie cutter. Some are jagged, some were shaped through different histories, different cultures, different experiences, some are round, but they're intentionally placed beside each other to help illuminate that bigger picture, right? And when we do that, when we see it from that perspective, it stops becoming dinosaurs who refuse to evolve or snowflakes, right, who are entitled and won't pay their dues. It becomes, we're building something together that neither of us could have built apart. And that's when HR gets to stop Googling how to bridge the generational divide. So here's my challenge to you. The next time that you're frustrated by the way that someone else works from a different generation, and believe me, you will be, there's probably a message in your inbox right now. It might even say in-person required. Try to take a step back and not be frustrated and think, what if their way isn't wrong? It's just different than mine, right? Because we have this tiny window of time right now where the people who built the old world and those who are building the new world are in the same rooms. They're on the same Teams calls or Zoom calls, right? We can waste that window of time fighting, or we can use it to build something extraordinary. Because this digital mosaic that we're building, it only works when you're holding all the pieces. Thank you.